Welcome to Sharp or Square, presented by Hard Rock Bet. We are part of the Volume Podcast Network. This is the show that makes the squares sharper and makes the wise guys pay attention. I am Chad Millman. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, my BFF, my companion, my compadre, professional bettor, Simon Hunter. Hello, Simon.
Chad, how we doing, brother?
Brother, I got to be a little muted today because I'm sitting in a hotel room. I'll be in a hotel room for our next two shows. If you could see, this is the beauty of podcasting in the modern age. My computer is balanced on the top of a turned over ice container. And there is a light that is half hanging on to the edge of my computer. So if we get through this whole show, and I'm on hotel Wi-Fi, if we get through this whole show and nothing collapses, that will be the miracle.
No, I got good faith. We've had a good run with hotel Wi-Fi.
We're also having a good run lately. We went 3-2 last week in our 5 favorite picks. We won with the Browns. We won with the Panthers. We won with the Eagles on Sunday night. Great call by you. We lost with the Bengals and we lost with the Rams. For the year, take a look at the graphic. Everyone can see this is where they get the official updates on our progress. 31-24 through 11 weeks of the season. Sometimes I wish I was only betting these 5 games and I didn't bet anything else, because I feel like it's the other games that are completely screwing me up, Simon. This is our Tuesday show. We'll get through the entire slate. If you want to see what the final 5 are, you got to check out the show Sunday a.m. on Sharp or Square YouTube page. Don't forget, subscribe to Apple Pods, Spotify, wherever you get your pods. All right, Thursday Night Football. Interesting game. Buffalo at Houston. Houston is a 6-point underdog at Hard Rock. 5.5s in a lot of other places. Look, I mean, who's playing QB? And I don't mean for the Texans. I mean, is it Josh Allen, who can be inconsistent and looks like he's pressing and is missing receivers? Or is it Josh Allen, the superhuman, who had 6 touchdowns against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday in a game that I think everyone is still getting over the hangover because it was so freaking wild?
Yeah, it's definitely a game where right when you saw the number, especially there's 5.5s out there, it's like, how do you not want to just take the Bills after the game they've just had and what you just said, what we've seen from Davis Mills and we expected from this Texas team. So I don't know. I kind of want to take the Texans now that we're at 6, but I don't think CJ is going to play. And that's
I don't know if he is
part.
either.
Concussions, it's like everyone's affected differently for them. So it's really tough to even try to predict it. And it's a type of thing where we don't know. It's all in-house. My biggest issue would definitely be Houston as a home team. I don't know. It's not like they have that huge home field advantage. And
yeah.
Even their primetime numbers of franchise just aren't good. It's pretty alarming. They're 18-31 straight up, 15-32 against the spread in night games. So it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Historically, it's not a good spot for them. So makes sense. The early money's coming in from the professionals and the public all lined up on this Bills team with so much unknown on this Texans team. So I guess I'll go Bills minus 5.5 for now if you can find it. But like we said, it's already -6 at Hard Rock. I could still, I guess, take the Bills. But I know it's super publicly and it's going to be all public money. But we've seen these Thursday games. It doesn't really matter. If it's a bad matchup and it's a guy like Davis Mills playing, it's a shootout. I just don't think he can keep up. So these short week games are just tough. And, we expect Josh Allen to have a letdown game after putting up 6 touchdowns, but maybe he's on a roll. So I'm not going to try to get in front of it. I don't know about you.
No. Josh Allen with the epic, I guess, the rare backdoor favorite cover, being down 1 with 5 minutes left and winning that game by 12 as what closed at a 6.5 point favorite. Davis Mills, look, it's a short week. CJ's still in the protocol. We don't know what's going to be happening. He hasn't been cleared yet. They got the Bills, Colts, and Chiefs on the docket. The Texans are 500. You wonder, all right, do they sit him one more game, make sure that he's healthy for the division game where that might be in the standings for the playoffs, potentially more important down the road? Davis Mills, I thought this was interesting. Again, I'm not advocating for betting the Texans in any way. Davis Mills had another last fourth quarter come from behind win on Sunday. That was his second in a row. The last time Davis Mills started a game before this season was the last game of 2023 when he led a come from behind win for the Texans when they were in position to have the number one overall pick, but that win knocked them out of the number one overall pick. The Texans might very well have Bryce Young right now instead of C.J. Stroud if Davis Mills does not win that game for Lovie Smith, who immediately got fired for getting his team to win at the end of that 2023 season. My point in saying all that is, who knows? Maybe Davis Mills is just really good in the fourth quarter at the only time that matters, and the rest of the game he's just torture to watch. Possible?
Yeah, but that's impossible and consistent to know.
It is. The Bills also gave up 200 yards to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers rushing on Sunday. So we know that their defense has not gotten better. It's going to be, can Josh Allen do something against this Texans defense? That's really going to be the game. Seattle minus 13 versus Tennessee. They're visiting the Tennessee Titans. We talked about this one on Sunday night. You pegged it immediately. I know I bet Seattle on Sunday at 12.5. I'm assuming you did as well. Totally a big number. But the defense is as good as, let's say, Houston's that just played the Titans and held them to 13 points, and it took a miracle to get there. And its offense is so much better than Houston's, or the Chargers for that matter, both of which were in position to cover big numbers late in the game. So I feel like the universe should right itself with this one.
Yeah, and I said this is a spot I would never usually take. I just blindly would take home dog, especially this big. And a lot of the numbers do back it up, playing dogs this big at home, just so people know why. This is a rare spot for me to take the Seahawks. So since 2020, favorites of 11 points or more, 3-7 against the spread, which is pretty bad. They're actually 5-5 straight up in those games. So it's a weird thing where these teams that are big favorites, juggernauts, lose these games, but I don't think it's here. I think we just saw Tennessee's best shot the week before in a divisional game.
I agree.
Now they're facing an absolute juggernaut. So I just said those trends just to give up. People couldn't believe when I was saying I like the Seahawks. And I said I usually blindly would bet Tennessee in the spot, but this late in the season with a number this big, like I said, the books were going to be begging for Tennessee money, and they opened it too short, and I think it's still too short. Like, why is this not above 14 here? So Tennessee, we've seen it this year. We've been burned by it. These fluky random points they get, like Chad said, those late touchdowns or field goals by Ward. They've been a covering machine, but here it feels like it's a great spot for Seattle, who they are 8-2 against the spread this season, Seattle. So, like, they've been covering pretty well with these big numbers, and it's really, if you go and look, it's them beating up on bad teams. They do really well against bad teams. So I think it's just their defense is so well coached. They really don't give an inch. And then offensively, we just saw Sam Darnold have his worst game of the year. It just feels like the exact spot he needs to get right. So with Jeffrey Simmons back, I don't really think Seattle will have much of a run game option, but passing wise, they should torch this secondary. So yeah, still like this number as long as you're getting under 14.
Look, the run game hasn't been that great anyways. That's been sort of the issue for Seattle. So I think this is a really good opportunity for Darnold to get right. And I think we did get a little bit of a lower number on Sunday and even today because of the stink of what Darnold did and people thinking, Sam Darnold, he's back. He's seeing ghosts again. I don't think that's the case. We've seen him have bad games. He had a bad game in the playoffs last year against the Rams and then came back and has been an MVP candidate for most of the year. So this is when you reassert yourself as an MVP candidate is against a very bad Tennessee Titans team.
And I broke my rule last week. I just said I will blindly bet Seattle as a road team. They just been so good to me. And under their head coach, they're 9-3 against the spread in this season. They're 5-1. So they're just covering machines on the road. They just get up on a McDonald's. So we got to bet it. I don't know. I'm trying not to let the number scare me off. It's an insane number, but I think Seattle's worthy of it. They're just a really talented team.
You know what's weird? We talked about it on Sunday. I didn't hesitate. Didn't feel like it. It felt like a big number that Seattle should win this game 34-3. Lock it in. Clip that for Monday.
That'd be nice.
Pittsburgh at Chicago. Chicago was a 3-point favorite. This opened at 2.5 after the Mason Rudolph, Aaron Rodgers, after Aaron Rodgers was injured in the game, and it became clear, or at least people thought Mason Rudolph would be starting this next week. Aaron Rodgers has a fractured left wrist, surgery not required. It's still not determined if he will be playing this Sunday, but this is a Mason Rudolph line. Today, Simon, according to Owen Millman, via Larry Mayer on Twitter, this was texted to me right before we started recording by Owen. Today is Caleb Williams' 24th birthday. He was born November 18th, 2001. According to Larry Mayer and Owen Millman, he is the only player currently on the Bears roster who was born on a day that the Bears played a game. They beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 27-24 behind 3 touchdowns from Jim Miller. Not so Bears legend who turned into a Bears broadcasting legend. He threw 3 touchdowns to Marty Booker. Bears won 27-24. Happy birthday to our favorite quarterback, Caleb Williams. Will you be betting again on Caleb Williams this weekend, Simon?
I hate this game so much because I feel like I have to go against the Bears. I feel like I'm blind.
I do
to
too. It's too much. It's too
shockingly,
much.
It's not a Tomlin spot like we make it out to be. Evan had some really great stats in this game, and the biggest one I took away from this one was just as a road underdog, what Tomlin's been doing lately. He's actually lost 4 straight up and against the spread, and that's the first time it's happened for Pittsburgh since 2011. So it's kind of interesting. He's actually struggled in this spot on the road as a dog as of late. But it's like, all right, well, what kind of Bear stats do I have to go against here? Because I just can't. We've talked about the Bears have had a horseshoe up their ass now for 5-6 weeks. Like, it's just been incredible the games they've pulled out and won where they're not playing their best, but they're just so well coached and they just find a way. They just keep believing in themselves. And this is a unique spot. Bears who've won 3 straight games by 5 points or less. In the last 20 years, teams in this exact spot, they went 12-23 against the spread in that 6th game. So historically, it usually catches up to them. More so, the fact that they're a favorite now. Is it because of Mason Rudolph? Like we've bet Pittsburgh with Mason Rudolph, Duck Hodges. We've bet this before in this spot, Chad. So, like the fact that the public hates Pittsburgh, the public's over the Bears as well. Finally, well, it feels like every week the public's kind of going against the Bears here. It feels like it's the right spot to take the Steelers, but it's paining me. I don't want to go, but there's something magical about this Bears team. They're just so well coached, and I think they'll be able to run the ball against the Steelers team. But we've seen it. Tomlin flies away, and I just think this is just playing the number. It's too big a +3.
Yeah, I agree. As much as it pains me to bet against the Bears in this spot, all of it just feels. We've seen this before, right? We've seen this with the Vikings a couple years ago. We saw this with the Giants in Brian Daboll's first year. We saw it with the Chiefs last year. There are teams that get on a roll and they go 8, 9, 10 games where they win by 1 score. And you keep expecting it every week. Like, how do you figure out when the regression is going to come? That's what makes it so difficult, because at some point you either got to get off the train and try to time that perfectly. It's like timing the market. How do you time the freaking market? You know, everybody is selling right now.
Hate your team. Like, they're graded as one of the worst teams in NFL history in the last 25 years to be 7-3. Just like all the underlying numbers and data.
Totally.
And that's why I love football. It's like, it don't matter. You got to line up and play the game. They keep finding a way. So I get what people are saying, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
Meaning, it doesn't matter. We're taking the Steelers.
Still taking the Steelers, but I'm just saying as a Bears fan, I wouldn't care. It's like we know our team's not that good. We're 7-3. Who cares?
Yeah. Oh, totally. But I will tell you this. As a Bears fan. You know, I watch all the videos. Ben Johnson in the locker room. He's amazing. You know, good, better, best, never let it rest, all those kinds of things. I also thought to myself, oh my God, there's still 7 games left in the year. The way the Bears have played and the way they've won these games, I could easily see them losing their next 7 games.
Yeah, the magic number is 3 to me. If you can get 3 wins, you guys have a brutal schedule in the season. If you can get the 3,
that's what I mean.
You can get the 10 wins. That's why it's tough for me here, where I know how desperate they are. They need to win this one, but that doesn't matter in football. Like, it doesn't matter if you need to win this game. It's really about the number. And I just think +3 on the Steelers is right.
All right, Simon, talking about numbers. New York Giants visiting the Detroit Lions. This number has moved from 11.5 to 10.5 since the Lions got just beat up, hammered, bamboozled by the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday night. And look, the Giants, we talked about it last week with Jameis. We had to bet on Jameis just for a little taste because of the roller coaster that is the full Jameis experience. And we got it with Jameis last week, where he had that team in contention to win the game, leading for much of it. Then they're down 7 points with 44 seconds left. They're on the Packers' 18-yard line. Jameis goes back to pass, throws it to the end zone. Jalen Hyatt picked off in the corner of the end zone. You can't blame Jameis for this one. He covered because the number was 7.5. So God bless. But also, Jalen Hyatt just gave up on the route. And this was not a Jameis Winston tragedy. It was Jalen Hyatt not doing his job. I don't know that the Giants have the same dead cat bounce against a desperate, and that's what they are right now, Detroit Lions team.
Yeah, and it's shockingly going to be my Simon Says, Chad.
Simon Says, presented by Hard Rock Bet.
-10.5.
I want to play a game. Simon Says.
Wow.
It's a big favorite, but it's really about this Lions and how we always just play this spot. And it's just good to us. We always talk about giving out long-term winners, and this is the definition of one. Tons of stats here, why it's so good to back the Lions here. And it's a unique spot, right? You're coming off a week where they didn't convert a single 4th down. Where immediately, as soon as that happened, it's good. I was like, all right, I got to find some stats. What is this Lions team like after they don't get a single 4th down the week before? Shockingly, they're 9-1 straight up, which, okay, they do bounce back after the struggle of the week, but they're 8-2 against the spread in games after they fail to convert a 4th down. So pretty apparent they bounce back in this game. And those games they've covered by an average of 10 points per game in that spot. So that's just bringing in what it's like after they struggle on 4th down. Now let's get to all the Goff stats. We know Goff in these games, he's always big at bouncing back because Lions have just been so good. And we've talked the last 3 years, they've been 70% against the spread. So you're going to have some really good stats with Goff and Campbell as a combo. And off a straight-up loss, they're 22-8 against the spread. So they just tend to bounce back, and the books don't account for it. So we always play that spot. And they're actually shockingly covered 13 in a row in this spot. So they haven't not covered after a loss since November 1st of 2022. Shout out to my guy, Evan Abrams. That's an amazing stat where it's like they're just a machine after these type of losses. And you go, okay, well, this is a big spread. What is their record when the spread's above 4? Goff and Campbell, they're perfect 8-0 against the spread when the spread is higher than 4 after a straight-up loss. So feels like a really good bounce-back spot. We talk all the time, Goff indoors after a loss, 24-7 against the spread. So it's like, again, it's just all points to it. And you just look at the on-field matchup-wise, the getting upfield can be neutered by the Giants with a good run game. And we know what Detroit want to do. They want to run the ball. They just couldn't get it done against an Eagles team that just has a really different front. They are great against the run because they have great linebackers, which the Giants do not. That's the Giants' biggest weakness. So love the match of the Lions. Love all the trends for this Lions team. And, yeah, I can't believe it, making it over a 10-point favorite, my favorite bet. But I've just been betting heavy into it, so I figured I'd give it out.
Can I support you? Because I want to support you. Because I will support you. Which Lions team are we getting, right? That's what people are going to ask. Are we getting the Lions in outdoors week 1 who scored 6 points against the Packers? Are we getting the Lions outdoors in week 11 who scored 9 points against the Eagles? Or are we getting the Lions in week 2 who beat the Bears at home indoors by 31? Are we getting the team that beat the Browns indoors at home by 24? Are we getting the team that beat the Bucs indoors at home by 15? Who do we think the Giants are more like? The Bears in week 2, the Browns whenever? That's why I feel confident. Like everything you just said about a bounce back spot and Jared Goff, and this team has shown us enough that they know how to manage when things aren't going well, and they will have a sort of mentality that does not accept this kind of performance. We've already seen it multiple times this year. I do believe we will see it again this week against the Giants. Betting against Jameis and the full Jameis experience does not scare me here. Simon, you're my BFF. You're my compadre. You're my co-host. I'm with you 100% minus 10.5. For this, I will ask that in return you support me later in the show.
That's fair. And like I said, it's just a unique spot. The Lions, that was the first time they haven't scored double digits in like 50 games. So, they got embarrassed last week, putting up 9 points. And, I just don't think the public will be on them here. So that's why I'm making it this bet. I just don't think people are a little scared off by them right now. And they might be sucked in on this Giants team in this number. I want you to take the Lions here. It's too low. This number should be closer to 13, but you're getting some points here because one team covered and played pretty well, where the Lions just got embarrassed, and that's the last thing people remember.
Look, we do have to ask, why do we think it moved from 11.5 to 10.5 on Sunday night and Monday? Because that wasn't the public betting into the 11.5.
Yeah, well, I mean, the professionals have been betting the Giants this year, and it's been good for them. So it's probably what it is. They like the Giants. It's profitable to bet the Giants this year.
We don't, and we'll take all the sharp calls.
Yeah, we really haven't.
New York Jets at Baltimore Ravens. Ravens are 13.5. This moved down half a point. We're already on the Seahawks. We're already on the Lions. I feel no need to figure out a way to bet the Ravens, and I can't find a way to bet the Jets.
I don't know. I shockingly kind of like the Ravens, but I get what you're saying. I can't get over how bad this Jets team is, and
terrible.
Like my biggest issue is Lamar and this team. They're definitely not worthy of this number in any sense. They have not played well consistently at all this season.
No.
And, the hardest part for me is just going through all the numbers where it's like the Ravens, they own the Jets. Every time they play, they just dominate this team historically. And, at home, Ravens 6-0 straight up, 5-1 against the spread against the Jets, winning by 14 points per game historically. And I don't know if people know this, the Ravens only been around since like 99 or 2000. It's not like a long battle. They've just dominated in the last 25 years. Lamar is more of an 8-point favorite his career. He's 16-11 against the spread. So if you are going to bet the Ravens, I get it. I think me and Chad have already talked about we're already enough favorites this week. I can avoid this. But I get it. Like, I'm tempted here. I just think this Jets team's atrocious, and they could easily get rolled here in many different ways. So I got away with it last week with Cleveland against this Ravens team. I'm not trying to go back to the well of the Jets. So I'll end up in my pick pools, probably end up on the Ravens. But I know people. I'm on 3 huge favorites this week. It's a weird week.
Well, look, I was just going to say, like, the flip side is we just bet the Ravens to cover our bases to make sure if we're betting three big favorites, we got them all, and we don't choose the 2 that lose, and we leave out the one that wins. The first
and my
game
buddy's a sucker who bets 10-point teasers. He is loving this week, and I'm like, my God, this is usually not a good sign.
The first game, I agree with you about Lamar. In the first game against Miami, to me, he wasn't great, but that was sort of an ease yourself in game after the injury. And last week, we knew we didn't expect him to be great because it was against the Browns and it was a rock fight. This, to me, feels like with the Ravens having now won 4 in a row, this is when Lamar sort of gets comfortable and unleashes, knowing that he's not against a division rival on the road, and it's not his first game back when he's still a little bit tentative. So I can't bet the Jets, so it's Ravens or nothing here.
That's fair.
A word from our sponsor, Hard Rock Bet. Today's show is brought to you by our new presenting sponsor, Hard Rock Bet. It's that time of year when every day feels like a big game day. You've got pro football, college football, NBA, college hoops, hockey. It's all happening, and on Hard Rock Bet, there's always something to bet on. If you haven't tried your first bet on Hard Rock Bet yet, there's still time for you to get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Just place a $5 bet, and if it hits, you get not only your winnings, but $150 in extra bonus bets. And if you're not sure what to place your first bet on, check out the Hard Rock Bet Stats Hub. It's loaded with trends, streaks, and stats to help guide your picks. Numbers don't lie, and neither does the data in there. Here's one that stood out to me again. Green Bay's Josh Jacobs has now scored a touchdown in 14 straight games versus NFC opponents. Check out the Stats Hub now. Get the edge and bet with confidence. The Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook app is the only legal sportsbook anytime you're in Florida, and it's also live in Arizona, Ohio, New Jersey, Indiana, Tennessee, Virginia, Illinois, and Colorado. Coming soon to more states too, plus Hard Rock Bet offers new promos every single day. So whenever you're listening, just open the app and check out what you've got any day of the week. Download the Hard Rock Bet app and make your first deposit. Simon, the New England Patriots are visiting the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Bengals are 7.5-point favorites. Joe Flacco may still be banged up. Jamar Chase will not be in the game because he was spitting on Jalen Ramsey. Everything about this game with a Bengals secondary that is so suspect and so susceptible to big plays. Second most yards per pass, the most EPA, highest EPA per pass, the fourth lowest QB pressure rate. I don't think I need to go on. Yet, the fact that the hook is still out there baiting us is weird to me, because it's clear the books are just hoping against hope that professional bettors are going to come in on the Bengals because they know how much money they're going to get on the Patriots.
Yeah, easy bet, easy spot, long-term winner, Bengals. If it's Joe Flacco, it's a no-brainer, but if it's not, I am happy to not have $0 and not invest in this game and walk away from it. So I got money to burn. I'll bet the Bengals here. People want to be patient and make sure it's Flacco. I can't fault you for it, because I will not have any money invested in a Bengals quarterback not named Joe Flacco or Joe Burrow. So to me, if you're looking for why this is such a magical spot, it's the key thing we talk about all the time with football is how hard it is to win consistently. It is so hard to string together wins consistently, and that's what's been shocking about this Patriots team, and they're in a unique spot. They've won 8 straight games. This team that, again, another team the nerds are just beating up because they're just not as good as their record perceives and how the public perceives them. They're just simply not. So it's a thing where I love and respect Vrabel, and I think that's part of their record and how great May's played, obviously, at MVP level. But again, 8 straight games they've won. Now they're on the road. Teams in this exact spot since 2010, 14-34 against the spread. Nightmare. And you just keep going back, teams on 8-win streak are 39, 60, 61, and 2 against the spread. So 39% since 2010. That's 11-20 and 1 against the spread since 2020. So all these numbers I keep giving you people, it's just a really, really bad spot. It's just hard to play at a high level consistently and just not have things bounce against you. Like we say all the time, it's a really stupid game with a weird shaped ball. It's just not going to bounce your way, and eventually it's going to catch up to you. So we're simply playing the number here. There is zero information or data I could give you why to back this Bengals team on the field. They are terrible defensively. The Patriots, especially scheme-wise, can out-scheme them. Drake May is playing at such a high level. It's just simply playing a number on an overvalued Patriots team. Are they better than the Bengals? Yeah. Are they 7.5 points better when it's Joe Flacco? No. That's that's an egregious number where I think the Bengals can keep it close, and this Patriots defense can be passed on. So it's just, once again, not going to be hammered because it's Chase is out. We don't know yet who's going to be the quarterback, but historically it's just a bad spot for this Patriots team. But the books, the number reflects that. If this was 6.5, I could talk us into taking the Patriots right now. If it was still under 7, but it's not. It's just moved too much, in my opinion. I got to give out the 7.5 on the Bengals.
Totally agree. This is a week where there's a lot of, from a historical betting perspective and from the way professionals like to look at these games, and we've got a couple of them coming up, weird spots, numbers in which the advantage is to the team that just got blown out, and it makes you uncomfortable. And one of those games is definitely the Cincinnati Bengals plus 7.5. They are just begging you to take that 7.5. I'm with you. I'll be curious to see, like, on Thursday, we're going to have another conversation about this one, a little more about the quarterback, but if that 7.5 is out there, I would not be uncomfortable playing it. Like, the confidence I have today, I know I will not have it on Sunday.
That was just brutal last week.
Guy, we got so many games that are going to be brutal for us this week.
I know.
Indy at Kansas City. Kansas City is a 3-point favorite. This one has moved from 3.5 down to 3. It looks like it could move back to 3.5. The juice is telling us it's going to move back to 3.5. I have an opinion. I think I know where you are. That's my opinion. I just want to make this statement. I want to sort of illuminate you. Ready?
Yeah.
What defense gave Mahomes the most trouble in the early part of this decade? Was it the Bills?
No, he struggled against...
No. Just say yes or no. Yes or no.
No.
Was it the Bills? Go with me on my gimmick here. Was it the Ravens?
No.
Cincinnati Bengals. Who was the team that consistently beat? Who was the team that said they owned Patrick Mahomes? Remember all the fights between the mayors of Cincinnati and Kansas City? Who was the defensive coordinator for that Bengals team? Who is now the defensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts? Lou Anarumo. I looked at the stats, 2021 when the Bengals went to the Super Bowl and beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, and 2025 with the Colts. Defensively, the stats are almost exactly the same. Running, I would say, 80% of the same scheme. If this Colts defense is healthy, can they get into Mahomes' lanes the way those Bengals teams that gave him the most trouble used to do?
Yeah.
Why are you laughing at me?
It's just I just love how long you go with some of these things. I don't know. I felt like I'm going to take the Colts no matter what. I wanted to get back to 3.5, so I'm not going to force it into this show. But this was going to be my Simon Says if it was 3.5 still at Hard Rock. I really love the Colts. It's stupid, but there's certain teams players just struggle with, and Mahomes has always struggled against the Colts. Doesn't matter who the quarterback has been. I mean, he literally lost in his career. He is 1-2 straight up and against the spread against the Colts. His 2 losses, one was Matt Ryan, the other one was Jacoby Brissett. So Matt Ryan in 2022, Jacoby Brissett in, I don't even know, 2018 or 2019. He's just struggled against him for whatever reason that is. And it's a unique spot. It's a Colts team off a bye week, which, you know, bad teams, I don't think bye weeks are that big of a deal, but really well-coached teams, I think it is a big deal. And the Colts, to me, are a really well-coached team. Even how bad their defense is, they've been really competitive in every game they've been this year. And, you know, it goes back to this Mahomes team. It's not the same Mahomes, and we've said it this year. There is something a little different, and it's starting to show up what the difference is. They're 0-5 in one-score games.
It's like we talked about.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, that's the biggest thing, right? It's just not winning close games, and this doesn't feel like a game they blow out, right? I don't know about you. I don't think they blow out the Colts. It can happen, right? It's Daniel Jones. We know what we're betting into. He could totally pumpkin, throw 3-4 picks, and that's how it goes. But just matchup-wise, it's really a 2. This number should be. Most people have this model at 2, 1.5. The Chiefs are getting the bump from what they've done before. And the same thing I talked about that Broncos number. They weren't a 3.5-point better team. I didn't think they'd win outright, but you know, that's the year it's been for this Chiefs team. So a lot of unique stats to back here with this Colts team. It's a rare spot, right? It's a Colts team coming off a bye facing against a Mahomes team and Chiefs team. Teams in this exact spot against Mahomes, they're 6-3 against the spread, covering by 5 points in those matchups. So Mahomes struggled when those teams are underdogs against Mahomes in this spot. So off a bye week playing Mahomes, they are 6-1 against the spread. The only loss, 49ers in that Super Bowl against the Chiefs. So historically, this is a good spot. Think about what needed to go right in that Super Bowl for Mahomes, not only to cover, but win that game. I don't know if people remember. It's like everything broke their way in that fourth quarter. So it feels like we have a lot of things working in our favor here with this Colts team. It's really about the line. I'm not going to make people a bad line. Like Hard Rock, we say they're a sharp book. The pros have hit the Colts. They bet this down. Shop around. Go find the 3.5. Find the hook on the Colts because we'll need it. This game easily could be the Chiefs winning by 3. We know Mahomes is due to have a type of game, but it's just about the number for me. I think we're getting an inflated line on a Colts, well-rested Colts team that's going to be able to move a ball against this Chiefs defense.
Minnesota at Green Bay. Green Bay is a 6.5-point favorite at home right now. Josh Jacobs is questionable. It's possible we're going to have to make a call on this game without knowing his availability. At the end of the day, I'm not sure that matters because the Vikings defense continues to be suspect against the run, giving up 140 yards to the Bears. What we do know is that J.J. McCarthy is very good in the first 15 and very good when his team is down in the fourth quarter. And in between, he looks like a rookie who's overthinking, not thinking, inaccurate when he's not pressured. If this were 7, do we bet the number and bet the Vikings, assuming cardiac JJ will kick open the back door? At 6.5, I'm not really into this game.
Yeah, I think we're both on the same page. We don't trust either quarterback or either team right now, Green Bay or the Vikings. This feels like a Vikings number. I am shocked they've kept it under 7. Maybe I'm underrating all the injuries the Packers have suffered, but how can you trust JJ on the road? He's just so inconsistent. He's so bad. You would think this would be such a big moment, too big of a spot for him to show up in, but my God, they're just getting pounded by Packers money, and this is touch 7 a couple of times and come right back down.
Yeah.
So tell you the pros are on the Vikings. They're backing them here. And it's a unique spot, right? The Packers, for some reason, LaFleur struggled against KOC. Like historically, they're in a weird spot too where they've lost 3 straight, or they've lost 2 straight, I should say, against the spread and straight up against the Vikings, which hasn't happened since 2005 for the Packers. So whatever it is, these last couple of years, it's been, I guess, going towards the Vikings, but I still think some of those stats, it's like I can't get over how bad JJ is. So, yeah, I think we're in the same boat. I'll pass on this one. I probably should be on the Packers, but I can't trust them right now as big favorites.
Agree. I don't know if we're going to agree on this next one, but I asked you for support, and this is going to be one of those games. Cleveland at Las Vegas. Las Vegas right now is a 3-point favorite. It's moving higher. Most books are at 3.5, which makes me sort of not want to offer it. And it's almost Chad's choice. The Las Vegas Raiders -3. Look, last night was ugly. And when George Pickens starts looking like he's Darnell Washington, the 300-pound tight end for the Steelers, and he's running over people, he's running through people, he's stiff-arming people, plus he's making guys look like they're not even trying to tackle him. That is a bad look for the Raiders defense. It's a bad look for people betting on the Raiders. It's a bad look for people rooting for the Raiders. Geno did his part, getting the team into or just outside the red zone, throwing picks, taking sacks, not getting them touchdowns. However, team coming off a blowout at home against a team that just had its max effort in the prior week, a Browns team we know gives up 10 more points per game on the road than it does at home. This feels like a light 'em up Geno moment. Prove you're a professional. I'm on the Raiders at -3.
Let's have a conversation of a -3.5 because that's where I think we're gonna have to make a real decision. Because I agree with you in everything you've said. My biggest reason just for wanting to take the Raiders here is just Sanders possibly might have put up the worst quarterbacking we've ever seen, just data-wise. Like, which is shocking. If you go through how horrible some quarterbacks have played, I mean, I'm blanking on his name. I just lost it. I remember we had a guy who started against the Chargers. I think he threw like 5 or 6 picks in his first start.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. He played for the Bills for a while too, I think.
And that's the 5th interception today thrown by Peterman.
We've just had a run of just horrible quarterbacks, and even that, Sanders somehow did worse in his performance. So I'll support it. It's a unique spot too, where it's a Browns quarterback making their first start, which we've joked, but we've been playing it. We automatically play the other side and take the money line because it's got proof to it. They're 0-17, their last 17 quarters for Sanders. The last time a quarterback has won making his first start for the Browns was 1995. Do you remember the name of the quarterback?
It wasn't Tim Couch, was it?
His first name was Eric.
Eric Kramer? I don't know.
His last name is spelled Zeier.
Oh, yeah. He played quarterback for Georgia. I think his number was 10.
I've never heard of him. So,
yeah.
So you remember him from back in the day? Okay.
Yeah, I remember from back in the day.
So that's
Totally
the last
remember.
time a Browns quarterback has started and won his first
Eric
start.
Zeier, I think, was his name.
Yeah, 1995, Chad.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, I want to be against you and be like, we're backing Geno Smith, which, you know, anyone can look up the numbers. Geno Smith, I think he's 11-20 against the spread as a favorite. You hate him as a dog. You don't want to bet him as a favorite. He's even worse as a favorite. He's terrible as a favorite, but
Too late.
yeah, it feels like a unique spot. Are we going to take Raiders on -3.5? That's the choice there. And once again, there's a bunch of spots numbers that are just bad against the Browns. I have Sanders here. The Browns since 2022, when they're playing a team with a win percentage below 40% on the road, they're 2-9 straight up, 1-11 against the spread. They've lost 7 in a row in this spot. And we've talked about they're just a different team. They're terrible on the road, this Browns team. Their defense just simply doesn't travel. So I hate this one. I was hoping we could avoid it, not bet it, but I know there's a lot of numbers we love for the Raiders. So I'll be up front, people. I'm going to be heavy on the money line of the Raiders. I don't know how much I'm going to touch the -3.5. I can't get over it. Geno -3.5 favorite, but I have a feeling Chad might get me there come Sunday morning.
Well, listen, if we're not going to do Geno, then let's do something else that's really gross. And this one is going to be Chad's choice, presented by Hard Rock Bet. I am going with the Arizona Cardinals +2.5 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I know. I just bet the Cardinals +3 against the Niners. Didn't work out for us. I know. Jacoby Brissett just set a record 47 completions, going 47-57 in the game against the Niners. This is a team that started off playing very competitive and has been trending worse and worse and worse and worse every single week. But I don't think Trevor Lawrence is long for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let me give you some stats, because the Jags just beat the Chargers 35-6. Liam Cohn basically took the ball out of Trevor Lawrence's hands in that game. On the first TD drive of the game in the first quarter, he threw 2 short passes. There was a long DPI, and then it was all runs. On the third drive of the game, he threw a pick. Overall, he was 14 of 22 for 153 yards. They ran it 47 times for 192 yards. My point is, I got a team at home as a dog off a blowout against a team that just blew somebody out. And if you're just looking at the score, you think that it's a really powerhouse team, and they're not. I'm just not going to be a buyer of the Jags. I'd much rather invest in the Cardinals. It's moving to 3. So, like, I wish I could have waited and made it Chad's choice at +3. It just hasn't gotten there yet.
Yeah, and to back up a little bit, you're talking about it being a blowout. Since 1990, we've had teams blow a 14-point lead entering the fourth quarter a couple times, and they tend to bounce back, right, the following game. So when they do bounce back, the game after that game, they are 7-24 straight up, 9-20 against the spread. And even more so since 2016, teams in this exact position that this Jaguars team is in, they're 0-7 against the spread. It's just a bad spot. The game after the comeback, so basically they got blown out, or not, I shouldn't say blown out. They got a team come back down by 14 in the fourth quarter. They win the next game like they did, big win. They tend to lose the following game, right? There's a letdown there. And that's what I like about these trends of historical data, because it just shows it doesn't matter if it's different teams and the people changed. It's human. Like, these guys have a letdown. It's just only natural. On the flip side, this has to be rock bottom buying the Cardinals. They did something that I've never seen. I'm gonna look into it if it's real, but in my life, I cannot remember. Again, going back 25 years now following football, a team gave up 40 points to a divisional opponent and then gave up another 40 the following week to a divisional opponent. You just don't see it. Like, they gave up 44 points to Seattle, then 41 to the 49ers. So you would think their coach, who's a defensive guy, would get it right, and this would be a spot they would bounce back against Trevor Lawrence and this Jags team. Like, it feels like a really nice lined up spot for this Cardinals team to get a win and bounce back, where they've struggled, right? They had that huge Monday night game against Dallas, and they've not handled it well. They got, like I just said, they got blown out 2 games in a row against divisional opponents. You expect them to bounce back, get right here. And like Chad said, this is really about the number. Like, this Jaguars team, this is going to be a public darling. People are hammering right now, and they're undervaluing a Cardinals team that, yeah, they've looked bad. They've been embarrassed, but they're not 3 points worse than this Jaguars team and Trevor Lawrence. So I'm with you, Chad. I like the Cardinals here.
Can we not talk about Atlanta at New Orleans? New Orleans is a 2-point favorite at home. That's astonishing to me. Like, terrible teams. Falcons went from 3-2 to 3-7. 3-7. Phoenix is likely out for the year. Tyler Shock versus Kirk Cousins. I mean, it's icy hot bowl 2 after the Flacco Rodgers game, between how old these guys are. So let's pass.
We can. I mean, I'm like you. I wanted to be on Atlanta. Maybe that should be a sign to me I should be on the Saints, though, because like you said, you shouldn't have a real opinion on this game. I will give some stats. Just, we all know how terrible Kirk is, but I really want people to hear these numbers just about how atrocious Kirk Cousins has been. They are 1-5 straight up, 0-6 against the spread in Kirk's last 6 starts dating back to last season. In Kirk's career, which again, he was pretty good. The guy made a ton of money. He is 8 games against the Saints. He is 4-4 straight up, 3-5 against the spread against the Saints. Even more glaring, in his last 4 games against the Saints, he is 0-4 against the spread. In the Superdome, he was 0-3 against the spread. He's gotten worse. When the numbers back it up, he's consistently got worse, and it's hard not to overrate him, because it's like we're seeing it right now. I almost got sucked in. I'm getting Kirk at some books a +2 against the Saints. They almost got me, Chad. They almost got me. Even before the show, I talked about it's like, man, I kind of like the Falcons here. But the more you look into the numbers, he's just been atrocious. And it's just, I can't back him here. So I really wanted to fade the Saints. Like, again, they came off a huge win, then had a bye week. You expect them to totally falter here in this spot, but maybe the Falcons are what they are, just one of the worst teams in football, losers of 5 or 6 straight games. Now Kirk Cousins in there, who's just been deader than dead. Like, I just read those stats. He's just been atrocious. So, yeah, I guess people can pass on it for my pick pools and other stuff. I'll probably end up betting the Saints, especially at -1.5.
Philadelphia at Dallas. Dallas is now at Hard Rock a 3-point underdog. When this game opened, it was Philadelphia -4.5, so it's come down quite a bit. It's a 3.5 in a lot of places, but 3 at Hard Rock, so 1.5 to a point. I think it's one of the hardest games on the board to handicap this week, because are we buying the Cowboys' improved defense? You know, with Quinnen Williams and all those guys who came back and they got to look good against a bad Raiders team. Like, are we worried about the Eagles' offense still now with Lane Johnson being injured? Fred Johnson is playing in his place. I think that's kind of a big deal. We've seen how ineffective this offense can be without Lane Johnson, and it's more ineffective than when they're playing with Lane Johnson. So I'm having a hard time with this one.
Well, we'll say this as an Eagles fan from the top. The Eagles are wearing their Kelly Greens, which they are 5-0 straight up, 4-1
Huge.
against the spread
Huge.
since 2023.
Yeah.
But no, the professionals are showing their hands here. They've taken this number down from 4.5 to 3. Shocking to me. The Eagles are so much better than this Cowboys team in every aspect. The only spot you feel confident more, obviously, is the Cowboys, is the fact that they have a passing offense that seems like it travels and it plays pretty well, but this is going to be the hardest defense the Cowboys have faced, obviously, this year. So at -3, I'm tempted to give out the Eagles here, but I've put my money behind the Cowboys at a plus number. It's just the Eagles' offense is so bad right now. It's so dysfunctional. Yeah. It has to catch up to them. Like they can't keep getting away from them. They need a coming to God or coming to Jesus moment here. They got to fire the OC. Like it's egregious at this point. And this, like I talked about coming to the season, my biggest fear was Sirianni won his Super Bowl, and now they're letting him pick his OC, and he picked his friend, Kevin Patalu, who up to this point, it's just been egregious. The offense is just so bad. It's gotten to zero imagination, and you only get defended so much. They've had such a tough schedule. It's like, well, here is an opportunity. They're playing against one of the worst defenses in football, where I get they got guys back. I still think it should not make a difference. Like Geno was the one that blew that game. They should have had a 14-3 lead to start that game. He had them settling for field goals. We've seen the Eagles team, if they get moving, if they get into the red zone, they tend to score unless they turn the ball over. So, yeah, I cannot believe Hard Rock hit this at 3. It's really tempting to me to give out the Eagles here, but unfortunately, I've already bet the Cowboys. So I think it comes back up, and it's a Cowboys number 3.5. But -3, if you haven't made a bet, I think that's a good Cowboy. I think that's a good Eagles number. It's just at this point, you're betting the Cowboys to win because that's, I don't know. I just can't see it. I cannot see this number staying at 3 for this Eagles team. If it stays at 3, I might need to load up on this Cowboys side because that's a tell by the books if they hold it at that number, because it's going to be Eagles will be one of the more public sides of the week if they hold it 3.
Yeah, I'm going to want to talk about this game again on Thursday, even if we don't think we're going to have it in the final 5. I think there's so much more to unpack with it, and we need another 2 days to see how the numbers
Cowboys
move.
on a short week too. It's just I can't believe the pros are loading up on the Cowboys. Really interesting here.
It's astonishing to me, and I just wonder, like, I feel like they're discounting the Eagles' offense too much and inflating the Cowboys' defense too much. To me, this feels like a bet on the Cowboys' defense and that it improved, and as much as anything else. And we don't know that yet. All we know is that they did well against a Raiders team in Geno Smith, who, despite the fact we're going to back him this week against the Browns, has generally been a terrible, terrible quarterback this year. So I can't get there with the Cowboys, and I've sort of just been hoping this number keeps dropping so I can play the Eagles. So let's put a pin in that one. We're definitely going to talk about it.
We're definitely playing with fire. Like we've gone 3-2 2 straight weeks. Both times the Eagles have been our third win. So we've been riding them here for 3 straight weeks. But like we keep saying, the public keeps undervaluing them, and it might be happening again, Chad. Like you said, if it goes at 2.5, how could you avoid that number?
But that's a telltale sign, right? The public loves offense. That's
true.
It's why
and
it's
they've been on prime
reason
time just laying an egg every week.
They're laying an egg.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, look what the Cowboys just did. Dak threw 4 touchdown passes. He's setting records on Monday Night Football. That's when you want to fade a team. Speaking of prime time, let's get to the prime time spotlight. We got a Sunday night game. We got a Monday night game. We know people like to bet these standalone games. Tampa Bay is visiting Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are 6.5-point favorites. Another week where it's a relatively big number for Baker and the Bucs. News from yesterday. Bucky Irving may play this week. Last week, Todd Bowles was pretty adamant he wasn't going to play in week 11. He was limited in practice, 3 sessions last week. Yesterday, Todd Bowles was a little bit more optimistic that he could play. I tend to think a big reason why this Bucs team has been struggling, you noted Baker scrambling, which I agree. I also think there's a dynamic with Bucky Irving that we're just not seeing from this offense that changes it for them, that started to become more and more clear the last few weeks when they've been struggling. Like, the problem with the Bucs this past week wasn't their offense. It was their defense and Josh Allen. So isn't this number too big for the Rams?
Yeah, and once again, it's just I think I'm too close to where like I think I should be on the Bucs like it was last week, but everything's telling me my instinct wise to be on the Rams here. And the more I dove into the numbers, the more it kind of played out that way. That this is technically a Rams spot, and the Rams actually play really well here. McVay, shockingly, after he plays divisional opponents, gets his guys up for the following game. He's 34-17 straight up, 30-17-4 against the spread in this exact spot after he plays divisional game. Where Baker on the flip side, he's not great in these nighttime games, which I always thought was true. And like when I went back and looked at it, it's like, okay, how bad is Baker? Just especially, I want to dive into him as a dog because that's what he is here. So as a field goal more underdog at night, Baker 1-8 straight up, 0-8 since he's joined the Tampa this Bucs team. Him and Todd Bowles at night together, they're 2-8 straight up. So Bowles obviously doesn't great at night games either. Pretty shocking though that Baker's had 13 games he's played at primetime at night. He's 2-11 straight up, 4-9 against the spread in those games. So whatever it is, like Baker, we love him as a dog. I was like, okay, are there numbers that back up that he struggles this game? Because I just can't believe how big this number is. Once again, it took a miracle for that Bills team to cover that number. Like Baker put up his best fight. He put up a ton of points. Now we both agree Rams defense is much better than the Bills defense is, right? They have not had anywhere near as bad as injury luck as that Bills defense has had. So yeah, it's 6.5. I get why the pros are betting this Rams team. I get why this number's move. So I'll go with the pros or I'll bet with the Rams. But I hate it. I hate going against Baker, but
hate it.
He just seems like he struggles in this spot.
Hate it. Here's what's interesting. The Bucs are playing Sunday night across the country. They could lose to the Rams. The next night, across the country in Northern California, Carolina Panthers are visiting the San Francisco 49ers. They're 7-point underdogs. If the Bucs lose and the Panthers pull out another miracle, which tends to be their MO, all of a sudden the Panthers could be in first place in the NFC South. And I cannot get to the Niners -7 in this game because I think there are so many problems with their defensive backfield right now. And we're seeing it week after week after week. Brock Purdy coming back is great. That rush offense, when Purdy is there, Kittle is there, McCaffrey has more opportunities. He does call the game differently. Like he sees the defense differently. He puts players in different position once they go into checks and audibles and things like that. But then I'm talking about then Mac Jones. I think the real difference here is Bryce Young scrambling, stepping up in the pocket, being accurate against the depleted Niners secondary. I'm going to have to be on the Panthers at +7.
I am too. I just do not get this number. It's another game I'm going to dive into more because we talked about it Sunday night. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe we were getting the Panthers +7. I mean, Hard Rock here has moved to the 6.5, which feels like it's the right line movement. How do the Panthers and Bryce Young handle him throwing for 450 yards and 3 touchdowns the week before, right? It's got to historically be a bad spot the following game. It's just you can't duplicate that, and it's a weird spot for this team where since 2018, this Panthers team, when they're coming off a game where they scored 30+ points, they're 5-16 against the spread. I mean, just a disaster. They're 2-13 straight up and against the spread in their last 15 times in this exact spot. So we're basically betting like we did last week. We need Bryce Young to be the difference. We need him to be the superhero because the trends are just terrible for this Panthers team.
We always need that. Their defense is terrible. They're not going to be
terrible.
Christian McCaffrey could run for 1,000 yards in this game.
He could. And what I keep going back to is just fading this 49ers team. There's tons of trends we've been going on this year about fading them after their wins and just how bad they've been at home as well. Like this, this year we've talked about it a little bit, but you can go back to 2023. They're 8-15 at home against the spread. 8-15. Like they've just struggled and been overvalued by the market consistently. So it's a not much to take away from other than the fact that they keep getting overvalued. Shanahan as a 6-point favorite. He usually wins those games. I think he's 9-4 straight up in this exact spot as a big favorite. But against the spread since 2023, I think it's since Christmas or right before it, he's 3-9 against the spread, including 0-3 in this spot where they are coming home as a favorite after a win. So we keep talking about that stat since Christmas. Basically, they win, they lose. They win, they lose. It's 1-15 now against the spread after a straight-up win and a cover on the road. So I don't know, Chad. It feels like it's too easy. The public and the pros are with us on this one. All the money, all of it is pouring in right now at almost every book on this Panthers team. So I'm happy to see the number moved. If it didn't budge, I would have told us we got to avoid it. But the fact that it's moved has given me some faith that we're on the right side. I think the books are undervaluing Bryce Young and how well he's played, and they keep undervaluing him this year. So we've been on the side with Bryce where he's laid eggs. We've been burned by him a couple of times this year. But like you just said, defensively, this feels like a great match for the Panthers. I don't know if they can stop the run, and they sure as hell can't stop the pass. So if Bryce Young brings his A game, Chad, I think we got a really great number here with Panthers.
I agree. It's going to be interesting. We got, I think we got about 8 or 9 games that we're feeling pretty good about, or at least like somewhat from good to very, very, very good. Cincinnati, good. Seattle, very good. Detroit, very good. Pittsburgh, good. Arizona, most excellent. Las Vegas, muy caliente. Philadelphia, I don't know. Rams, Carolina, good. So we got some work to do between now and Thursday to get a little more intel. We'll hear more about practices, injuries, things like that. This has been Sharp or Square, part of the Volume Podcast Network. We will be back on Thursday with the games we are zeroing in on, plus our head-to-head battle, brass balls, so much more. Watch or listen on YouTube at Sharp or Square. Like the video while you're watching. Subscribe to the channel. Download us from Spotify, Apple Pods, wherever you get your pods. Rate, review, subscribe. Leave us 5 stars. Say whatever you want. Feedback is a gift. Until next time. Love you.
Right now it's time to take a step forward. We got to put something together back to back. Now let's go.